FIN 1003, we're just going to do a couple of quick practice questions with regards to bonds. That's week 4 from chapter 4, the chapter on interest rates. Okay, so we'll look at this first one. Portfolio manager is considering the purchase of a bond with a 5.5% coupon rate, pays interest annually, matures in 3 years, required rate of return is 5%, and the price of the bond per $100 of par value is closest to what? So a couple of things when we get into these practice problems. Number one, we see a lot of practice problems where the par value is 1,000, but this case the par value is 100. That's fine. The other thing that a couple of students noted is, why are they giving the coupon rate as a percentage when we're typing it in as a payment, because the coupon is a payment of cash? Why are they giving it to us as a rate? Well, that's simple. The coupon, how do we determine how much is paid? The cash amount, it's always a percentage of the face. So in this case, it's going to be the payment is 5.5%. That's the coupon rate times the face value of 100. And so that would be $5.5. Okay, just going to bring up the calculator on that. So just bring up the calculator. 100 times 5.5%. And that's going to equal $5.50. Okay, so one of the things that let's just bring up the calculator again and keep it there for a minute. We know that so how do we solve these problems? Always we set up the PY, and that is periods per year equals 1, and then we set up the calculator. We're going to do N, identify the N. Well, the N is 3 years and it's annually, so N equals 3 years times periods per year of 1, so the N equals 3. Okay, if we look at for the IY, that's the market rate or required rate, and we see that's going to be 5%. So N equals 3, IY equals 5. Just bring up the calculator again. Present value, that's what we're solving for. The price of a bond is simply the present value of all the future cash flows added up. Okay, payment we know is 5.5, and that's cash positive into us, and the future value equals the 100. So let's just bring up the calculator here, and we're going to check second PY. Yes, I've got it set up for annual. If it was semi-annual, remember, how do we change it? We do 2, enter, and then just clear it. Okay, so we can see second PY is set at 2. We want it back to the annual, so we hit 1, enter, clear, clear. Okay, so we'll just check it. Second PY, yeah, we're set right. Okay, so now we're just going to input the data. It's going to be 3N, 5 IY, because that's the required rate, and then the payment is 5.5 payment, 100 future value, and then we compute the present value, which is the price, 101.36. It's negative out of our pocket, so the correct answer is B. All right, so that's a fairly easy one. Let's move on to the next one. This is a bond with 2 years remaining, 3% coupon rate. The market discount rate is 4%, and the price of the bond is 100, and it's also annually. So let's just bring up the calculator again. Second PY, yeah, we're set for annually. So let's just let's write down the data again as well. So N is going to equal 2 years. IY is always the required rate, not the coupon rate, and that's going to be a market discount rate of 4%. So sometimes you see different wording, required rate or market discount rate. The present value is what we're solving for. The payment in this case, it's a 3% coupon rate, so that's going to be 3% times the 100, so that's just $3. And the future value again is 100. They're using 100, not 1,000. So very easy. Just always check second PY. Yeah, set for the 1. So that's going to be 2N, 4 IY, 3 payment, 100 future value, and then we're going to compute the present value, 98.11. So the correct answer is C. Okay, just going to scroll up the questions a little bit more. So this one now, this is a 9% coupon rate, but it's paying interest semi-annually, and it matures in 3 years, and the required rate is 11%. So now we're going to change the PY, periods per year, to 2. Now for sure I had a student yesterday that was calculating a bond price, not setting the periods per year properly, and they were getting the wrong answer, and that's sometimes the case. So then in this case it's semi-annual, so N is going to equal the 3 years, that's the X, times periods per year equals 2. So in this case N is going to equal 6, okay? So then we have our IY is going to equal the 11 because that's the required rate. Here we need to be a little bit careful. Present value is the value that we're solving for. But here on the payment is another adjustment that you need to make. The payment is going to be 9%, and that pays interest semi-annually. So it's going to be $9 divided by 2 because it's paid semi-annually. So actually the payment each semi-annual is 4.5, and that's the adjustment that you also have to make. And then the future value is going to be 100. So if we bring up the calc and just work through this, so let's just check. Second PY, yeah, we've got it set for semi-annual. And so let's just work through it. It's going to be 6N, and required rate of return is 11 IY. The payment is going to be 4.5 payment, 100 future value, and we're going to compute the present value. We've got 95.00. Okay, so it's closest to 95.00. So remember, in this case we had to set the calculator to semi-annual. So again, second PY was set at 2. If we want to change it back to annual, we're going to hit 1, enter, hit clear. So second PY, we can see that's annual. To change it to semi-annual, 2, enter, clear, clear, and there we have the calculator set for the semi-annual. Okay. So just going to scroll that paper up again a little bit. So in this case, now we're looking at a bond with offers an annual coupon rate of 4%. Again, semi-annual, matures in 2 years, market discount rate of 6%. Priced at 100. So again, the PY, no change to the calculator, is going to be 2. N is going to equal 2 years. That's the X times periods per year is 2. So N is going to equal 4. All right. Our IY in this case, market discount rate of 6. Our payment is going to be our 4% times 100, which is 4, but it's semi-annual, so 4 divided by 2. Each coupon payment is going to be 2. And our future value is going to equal 100. So let's bring up the calculator to solve this one. So again, yeah, I'm in the periods per year equals 2. So this is going to be, and remember we can do it, it's 2 years, second and N, that's going to give us N equals 4. Okay, just the other way that we can do it. IY is 6, IY. The payment is 2. The future value is 100. And we're going to compute the present value, and it's 96.28. So the correct answer is B. All right. So you can see these get easier and easier, but I've always told you that you just need to practice. Speed is a skill. Skill gets rewarded. How do we get speedier? We do a lot of practice. So this next one, coupon rate of 5%, interest paid semi-annual, matures in 7 years, market discount rate of 3%. Okay. So again, PY, periods per year, equals 2. And then our N is going to equal 7 years. That's the X times periods per year is 2. So that's going to be N equals 14. Our required rate of return, it's a market discount rate of 3%. Our payment is going to be $5 per year, but it's semi-annual, so it's going to be $250. And our future value is going to be 100. So we're solving for the present value. Let's just bring up the calculator again. Second PY, yeah, we're set for semi-annual. So that's going to be 14N, and it's going to be 3 IY. Payment is $2.50 payment, It's positive coming into our pocket. 100 future value, and we're going to compute the present value, and it's 112.54. So we can see the correct answer is B. All right. Scrolling down a little bit more to the further questions. Oh, here's a zero coupon bond, matures in 15 years at a market rate of 4.5% and assuming annual compounding. Okay, because often with a zero coupon bond, we assume semi-annual compounding. Okay, so let's just do this. In this case, so it's saying assuming annual compounding, so the PY is going to equal 1. Okay, and it's saying that it's maturing in 15 years, so N is going to equal 15. And the market discount rate, the IY, equals 4.5%. In this case, it's a zero coupon, so the payment equals 0, and the future value is going to equal the 100. Okay, so let's just bring up what we do with a zero coupon. So it says assuming annual compounding, so we're going to do second PY. Now we got to change that to annual, so we're going to hit 1 enter, and then we're just going to work from left to right again. It's 15N. The market discount rate is 4.5%. Okay, that's the IY. There's no payment because it says it's a zero coupon bond. And we do 100 is our future value. That's what you'll get back. How much are you going to pay for that? Compute present value, 51.67. So the correct answer is B. So a zero coupon payment bond is very easy to do. There's no payment. Also, you can calculate it with the algebra. It's just the present value equals the future value, which is 100, divided by 1 plus the market discount rate, 0.045, and to the N of 15. Okay, sorry, I made that a little bit. So you can see, if I bring up the calculator, that's just the algebra, your present value formula. We're going to do 1.045 y to the x to the 15, and that's going to give us 1.93528, okay? 1.93528. So that's going to be, so the present value equals the future value, the 100, divided by 1.93528. So 100 divided by 1.93528, that equals our 51.67, correct answer B. So on the zero coupons, because there's no series of cash flows, you can just use the simple present value calculation, or you can use the time value money functionality on the calculator. Okay, so this next question is a neat one. It says that consider two bonds that pay interest annually at a market discount rate of 4%. The price difference between A and B is closest to what? So what they're doing here is just two questions mixed in one, and they just want you to calculate the price, the present value. Okay, so for bond A, let's just bring up the calculator very quickly, and they're paying interest annually, so just check second PY. Yeah, so for the first bond, and it's a market discount rate of 4%. So the first one, it's 2N, and the IY is 4IY, and the payment is 5%, so that's 5 payment, 100 future value. So compute the present value, and we've got a price on the first bond of 101.886. 0.886. All right, so let's just calculate the second bond now. So the second bond, it's going to be 2N, and it's the required rate. So just never make a mistake on that. It's always the required rate for the 4IY. But the payment in this case is 3%, so it's $3 payment, 100 future value, and we're going to compute the present value, and we get 98.11. So the price of the bond B is 98.11. So if I just bring up the calculator, okay, and if I just do that, plus 101.886, we can see the difference between the two bonds is 3.77, which is question B. A lot of times I tell the students, when in doubt, guess B if you're guessing. Anyhow, that's a bit of a joke. So we'll scroll down, and finally we have just one last question that we practiced, and it's saying which bond offers the lowest yield to maturity. So in this case, we're calculating the IY because we're giving us the price, okay? So as I mentioned in class, there's a little bit of a shortcut because we can see if the coupon rate is 5%, but the bond is being sold at a premium, then we know that the yield to maturity is going to be below the coupon rate. So we know that the IY in this case, and we will solve it on the calculator, is going to be less than 5%. In this case, the coupon rate is 6%, and the bond price is at par. We know if the bond price is at par, then the coupon rate is going to equal the yield to maturity. So in this case, the yield to maturity, we don't even need the calculator, is going to be 6%. And then in this case, we've got a 5% bond coupon rate, but it's being bought as a discount. So we know that the yield maturity is going to be greater than the coupon rate. So we know it's going to be greater than 5%. And so we know that the correct answer is going to be A just by using our logic. But let's just bring up the calculator to prove that. So we're assuming here annual. So second IY, we're just going to leave that as 1. So let's just calculate the first one. So the N is 2 years, 2N. IY is, that's what we're solving for. So the present value is the price. So it's 101.886. Make that a negative because it's cash out of my pocket, and one of the present value and future value has to be negative. So we're making that negative. The coupon is 5%, so $5. And the future value is 100, the face value. So I'm going to compute the IY. And yes, on A, I've got a 4% yield, okay? Again, just to show you on the second one, just to prove it to you, here we've got 2 years, so 2N. And we have a present value of 100. That's our price. Make that negative. And we have a $6 payment. We have 100 future value, and so we're going to compute the IY. It's going to be 6. So B equals 6%. Yes, we said that because we know the rule. When the coupon rate equals the, when the price is at par, the coupon rate is going to equal the yield to maturity. And so for finally bond C, let's just bring it up. That's going to be a 3N, and the present value is 97.327. Going to make that a negative. Present value. The payment on this is a $5 coupon, 5% times the face, and 100 face value, future value, and we're going to compute the IY. It's also 6%, so we know that bond A has the lowest yield to maturity. Okay, so that was the questions that we did in class after the lesson. I just wanted to show you very quickly where they came from. I took those practice problems here from CFA Level I, so I'm very happy with the class. If I open up the ebook, and this is reading 52, Introduction to Fixed Income Valuation, and the learning outcome statement was calculate a bond's price given a market discount rate. So just let me bring that open, just 1 second. I'll show you where that came from. Just go back. Sorry, reading 52, and we go to the practice problems, and ta-da, you can see this is where we got the practice problems from. Number 1, the 5% coupon, number 2, etc. And if I just scroll down to see the solutions here, there's a lot of practice problems. So if you're doing the CFA, but we started with just a few of the easy ones, you can see here is the solution to the first one. And whoops, a little bit too far, just 1 second. Yeah, a lot of practice problems. Scroll back up. And so you can see here was the solution for the very first one. Here they were just cranking out using the algebra. I'd like to show it. So we know that the coupon payment, that was annual, 5.5. It was 3 years. They're using the algebra 101.36. So here was the solutions. So very good job today. We did some bond price calculations, and we calculated yield to maturity. And in fact, these practice problems that we did was straight out of CFA Level I curriculum. So very nice work, class. And that's the end for this video. Thank you very much.